Hello and welcome to part 2 of Charvel versus Schecter. A few months back I recorded a video in which I compared this Charvel San Dimas with this Schecter Sun Valley. The video triggered a very interesting discussion and I read with a great interest all of your comments. Today I would like to react to your comments along 3 topics. The first one is detailed specs of these two guitars. The second would be better quality sound samples. And the third one would be my personal opinion. You ask for it. I will honestly give you my preference between these two guitars and tell you if I had to keep only one, which one would it be. So stay tuned until the end to know about my preference. So in the first part of this video, I would like to address more in detail the technical specification of each guitar. The main idea is, yes, these two guitars are both super strat and they probably target the same guitarist audience. But if you look into more detail, you will notice that for every spec, every element, Charvel and Schecter made different choices. And among these choices, there are some things that you may not be aware of just by looking at the specs on their websites. There are things like feeling, ease of use that is a bit difficult to transcribe. So let's begin with the neck. On the Charvel San Dimas, the neck is maple, of course, and maple fretboard. But the feeling is a bit different. The feeling on the Charvel is a feeling of raw wood, meaning if there is a finish, I can't feel it. Maybe it's not as raw as a Squire, for example, where you know it's really raw wood, they didn't finish it at all. Maybe there's a very slight finish, but honestly, it's the same feeling as if I had taken sandpaper and sanded the whole finish down the neck. I know because I did it on another guitar. Also, the profile is quite flat. It's like a flat D. Maybe you can see it on this video. It's quite flat and the edges are very rounded. On the Schecter Sun Valley, the feeling is a bit different. First, the shape is more of a solid D. You have more wood in your hand. It's not chunky, but it's not flat. It's not as flat as the Charvel, and it's definitely not flat like an Ibanez wizard neck. So you have a bit more wood. Also, the edges are not rounded. They are quite not sharp, but yeah, there are edges for sure. And the feeling is a bit different. It's a satin neck, so it's very smooth, but you can feel there is a kind of finish. It reminds me a lot of a Fender Stratocaster, whether it's Mexico or US. It's this kind of satin finish. On the Charvel San Dimas, the access is traditional. The neck joint with the body is a traditional, bit chunky neck. I prefer a lot the access joint of the DK24, but that's another story. The Schecter Sun Valley has exactly this kind of access joint that I prefer, which is very carved, slimmer, and allows for a better access to the last frets. So let's continue with the differences. These are, on the Charvel, these are passive pickups, Seymour Duncan pickups. They're great pickups, very good quality, with coil split. So if I pull the volume knob here, I can split the coil and basically get what they call a 6-pack of sounds. On the Schecter, the pickups are active. These are EMG Retroactive 70. you cannot call split them. But maybe you can, but like stock, it's not call split. You have the full humbucker on the neck and the full humbucker on the bridge. About the electronics, on the Charvel we have one volume, one tone. You can disable the tone. If you put it to the maximum, it's completely disabled. So basically you have just one volume if you put it completely to the maximum. On the Schecter Sun Valley, you have two volumes. You don't have any tone. Some people say it's useless. Maybe it is, I don't know. I don't use them a lot. But here you have two tones. So, of course, you don't have a coil split, but you can, in the central position, blend the two pickups and find your own combination of the two sounds. About the tremolo, on the Charvel San Dimas, it's a Floyd Rose 1000. Basically, in the Floyd Rose category, you have three tiers. Floyd Rose Original, which is the best one, Floyd Rose 1000, and then Floyd Rose Special, which is on the one of the Schecter. So this one is the Floyd Rose FR 1000. On the Schecter Sun Valley, you have a Floyd Rose Special, which is exactly the same dimensions, but not the same quality because it's not made of the same material as the other Floyd Rose. This is made of zinc instead of steel, so it may get used sooner. If we look at the tremolo bar, on this one it's a push-in and screw. So basically you have a small screw here, push in and screw it. It's a bit long, it's very effective. On the Schecter, it's a push-in bar, which is, let's say it's great. You want to put it in a bag, you just pull it, you just put it back, you just push it back, and you have a small adjustment screw here to control the tightness of the bar. And last but not least, one small detail I noticed and I found very funny. On the San Dimas, the tremolo is chrome with black screws, and on the Schecter, the tremolo is black with chrome screws, as if they were thinking, okay, let's do it just the opposite of what the other guys did. So why are all these little details important to you? Well, they're going to alter the way you interact with your guitar, the way your guitar feels comfortable to you. That's mostly for the neck, which is the most important thing that we as guitarists interact with, but also with the controls, with the electronics, how you can easily find the tone you want on your own guitar, especially if you're on stage. I will give you a quick example with the Schecter. On the Schecter you have a three-way toggle switch, and it's right in front of my picking hand. Some people hate it because it's just in the way and they can change it without knowing it. And some people love it because it's very close to their picking hand. So while they are picking, they can easily, with a little finger, for example, change the pickups. Something else, on this guitar you have two volumes. If you are not used to using two volumes, you can get, like I did, in a tricky situation where you change pickups and then suddenly you don't have any sound because the volume is all the way down. If you are used to playing with, let's say, a Les Paul, then it will be much easier for you and you will be used to try and find your own tone in the central position, for example. The second batch of comments dealt with the quality of the audio sample I recorded. Basically, the quality was not high enough for you to grasp the difference in the tones of the two guitars. And I admit that was true. I did with what I had at the time. But now I decided to invest a bit more heavily in my sound chain. So what you will hear now is the two guitars recorded in the exact same sound chain, meaning a Scarlet 2i2 audio interface, into a bias FX2 effect, and then a better microphone too. Finally, the third part of the comments dealt with my own personal preference. Basically, hey, you gave us a lot of specs, but which one do you prefer? For real, if you had to choose. So I will tell you honestly, my preference is my Charvel San Dimas. It's my number one. It's the guitar I'm the most comfortable with, and I'm used to it. However, there are a few elements that I really liked on the Schecter, and I would like to bring in the Charvel, even though it's not possible. Two main points. The neck joint is better, in my opinion, on the Schecter, and the push-in bar is really a great thing. It's really nice on the Schecter. As a conclusion, let me give you a bit more food for thought. First of all, both guitars are great guitars. However, the manufacturers made a different set of choices for each one of them. Some of these choices are clearly a better design. For example, the neck joint on the Schecter is just a better design. It's more modern. However, a lot of these decisions relate to personal tastes. What are your own preference? That's why it's really important for you to be able to try one of them before buying it. The second point is there is a price difference of around $100 between a Charvel San Dimas and a Schecter Sun Valley. But according to your country, the price difference or the availability may differ from that. In some countries, the Charvel are just not available at a reasonable price. In that situation, the Schecter is just a better deal. Third point is, I never found a used Charvel San Dimas less than $550, $500. Although I can find really good deals on a Schecter Sun Valley. Last week I found one same as this one in white, less than $400. At that price, that's really interesting. Final point about the Schecter Sun Valley, it's a great platform for modding, especially if you can find a good deal. It already has an active electronics, so you can change, if you don't like these retroactive 70, which personally I like, but if you don't like them, you can swap them for other active pickups, or even for passive pickups. And it's a great thing that you have a 9-volt battery already in the circuit. Why? Because you can, for example, replace one of the volumes by a kill switch with the LED, and then you can enjoy the 9-volt battery. Or you can install a knob with LED if that's your taste, and once again you already have the 9-volt battery for that. About the Floyd Rose Special on that guitar, a lot of people reacted saying it was a deal breaker for them. I understand that point of view, but keep in mind that the Floyd Rose Special finally has the same dimensions as other Floyd Rose. So you can easily swap it and get a better one if the rest of the guitar is really to your taste. That's it for today. Let me know in the comment section if you would like more of these comparison videos, or if you would like, for example, an overview of my modest guitar collection. Anyway, stay positive and keep on playing.